Hello, everyone. I'm Chester44, also known as Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity. Last episode, we went and took care of the few bounties that we happened to be able to deal with, and, got a bunch of items, got a good amount of money, and got level ups, which is very nice. I think what we're going to do next is head over to Stormwall Gorge and see what we can find there. It was tough the last time we visited, but now I think we can deal with it. Let's take a look. Oh, let's see here. We've got two things. A distant relative of Grammerfell the Wayfarer has arrived at the stronghold, requesting that they be freed in exchange of coin. And the curtain wall was finished. 700 coin for that. We're gonna leave him in. As for what we're going to build next, we should build things that give us bonuses. We got the four. You know what? I want to build the towers. The perception bonus, I feel, would be very useful. So we'll go with that. Upgrade the towers. Now then, let's take a look. First things first. Walk along the road, see where it leads. Nothing of note yet. Oh, hold on. Oh, that's just a deer. Got a body there. And it looks like we've got a split in the road. One is well-traveled. The other appears to be the other appears to be heading down into the gorge. And east goes to Deerford Village. Alright, let's take a look at the area to the north first. I'm not going to go into the gorge yet. Uh-oh. Ah! Lion. Go ahead. Attack the lion. Oh yeah, we can handle these now. The lioness was temporarily charmed. Okay. I think we can handle this. This region, totally dealable. Anything to the north? There is not. Okay. Something to loot here. That's the carcass of the lions we're going for. Okay, anything else around here? Nice big stone. Oh, and we've got feral druids. It's a little worrying. Do what killing you can. Hey, you can get a free blessing out, right? Go ahead. Okay, we're taking care of these druids. One more to deal with. And there we go. It's a little concerning that these druids are all feral. But hey, it's loot. I'll take that loot. Quite a bit of loot, too. Very nice. Okay. Seems to be about everything on the northern side. I have a feeling if we go down this way, we'll find the upper level of the gorge. So let's see if we can find it before we go down. Yep, there it is. Though there's something else here, interestingly enough. The bright sun casts its light on a pattern in the ground. You kneel to get a better look. The stone here has been carved with a few simple shapes. A small circular indentation marks the center, and a much larger circle surrounds it. You see what appears to be writing above the two circles. Look at the indentation. The indentation is shallow and smooth. Looks like it was intended to hold something specific. Examine the outer circle. Several shapes have been carved along the outer ring. Though most have been worn away, you can make out a crescent above the center. Examine the writing. The curving, twisting runes are strangely familiar to you. You recognize them as ancient and Gwithan. They read, "All things end only to continue anew. Enter now at dusk, that we may all experience a new dawn." So, I'm guessing, if we wait for dusk, we can get into Leia Remen. That's the creatures here to kill. Quigras. Oh, let's go. There we go. So I guess we can only get in here during the evening. Leia Remen. Do we have a quest for that? I don't know if we do. It's probably connected to a quest that we haven't gotten yet. Okay, located at the top of this area, though. Hiravias. Hello. Chewing on a piece of uncooked meat, a small Orlan dressed in tattered leathers offers a mumbled greeting and waves his hand. Despite his pleasant smile, the upper right portion of his face is in a sorry state. An eye patch stitched with a stylized eyeball wraps around his head, and his ear is a mangled remnant that twitches and spasms, while the other ear perks up at your approach. Next to him is the splayed carcass of a deer that appears ripped open by a bear or wolf. You hear a gurgling rumble next to you. Sigani places her hand on her stomach. Her eyes are on the carcass. Still fresh. Itumak's pink tongue lolls out of his mouth.
If this is your deer, you need a new game warden. Name's Hiravias. Hungry? I can't eat all this. First catch of the day, help yourself.
He smiles, bits of sinew and tendon dangle from his bloody lips. His one good eye twinkles. Taking a step back, he spreads his arm wide, presenting the carcass to you. What killed that deer?
One ornery Stelgar. Though looking at the deer's insides, it had a malformed but delicious heart, and would have been dead within the year regardless. Gallowayne chose a fitting end for this fine animal. Pardon me, I shouldn't pray with my mouth full.
He bows his head to the deer, starts to breathlessly chant, but then stops abruptly. What brings you here?
Other than the delicious venison, new trees to document, new animals to sketch, new sights to be seen. I've learned as much as I can from the druids of my circle. I'd rather wander and learn than take root and stagnate. So if you're traveling to Deerwood and need another set of hands, I'd welcome the safety of a group.
And just what can you offer in return?
I'm trained by the celebrants of Hawk and Ivy of the Fisher Crane tribe. I know more than my share of nature magic, and, well, I don't shy away from a good fight. I have business with the druids that live near Twin Elms. So long as we find ourselves there eventually, I'm happy to follow along.
Oh, you're welcome to join us.
Splendid! It'll be an honor to run with a pack for a change.
And we have a new companion, Hiravias, a druid. We'll take Sigani out for
Farewell.
now, so that we can see what Hiravias can do. Okay, new companion we have now. Let's see. Hiravias. Let's start by looking at his stats here. So, he's an Orlan. He's a druid. A lot of survival. He's got spells and the like as a druid. Weapon-focused peasant, so he uses... I think he was wielding a spear. Or a hunting bow. Bonus first level spell, Scion of Flame. And vulnerable attack. Okay.
Need something?
And he's got a lot of spells. Shouldn't look through all of them. Talon's Reach is a free one. Vulnerable attack, he can turn that on at any time. And Spirit Shift Stelgar. Alright, as for weapons and the like, he's got a fine spear. I can't give him anything for that. I don't have any better weapons for him. I don't think. No, that's a stiletto. I mean, I guess I can give him this instead of the wand he's using. And armor-wise, he wields medium armor. I can give him the Sun-Touched Mail of Hiron Wrath. Herbal is protective skin. Let's see. I think this is actually a better choice. Herbal is protective skin. Alright. Oh, there we go. How about we speak with you a bit?
As a peripatetic loner, I'm not privy to the latest news, but the Hollowborn Children is a tale that has reached even my reclusive ears. Or, rather, ear.
What did the Glanfoth and Druins think of this plight?
It's been a long time since I've spoken with my circle. They'd probably tell you what I'd tell you. This plight was most certainly the consequence of someone trespassing into Nguithan places, not meant for folk. I mean, what else other than the gods could inflict punishment of such impressive scale?
And what are your thoughts on the Hollowborn? What are your thoughts on the Hollowborn?
Any time a life is separated from its soul, I wanted to pretend it was just a rumor when I first heard of it.
His eye meets yours, and his default usual smile becomes a frown. He has several starts and stops before finally deciding how to finish his thought.
In my youth, I'd cursed the dear Woodens for being ignorant despoilers that breed out of control. But soulless babies? What heartless gods would inflict that kind of tragedy? No parent or child deserves to be a part of that horror.
Alright.
We can speak another...
Let's see if you have anything else to say.
Yeah? Need something?
Tell me about yourself.
My second favorite subject.
He runs his fingers through his scalp, preening his fur.
What would you like to know?
How did you come to be trained as a druid? Hiravias thumbs his half-shredded ear and thinks to himself for several seconds. It wasn't, entirely by choice. Not at the start, at least. My ambition was to be a hunter. I merely arrived by a different trail. As a child, an Anamfath came to visit. An honored guest is occasion for a grand chase, but I was left out. Instructed instead to be a cupbearer to the old wise one, while the rest were on hunt. I'm sure you can guess what happens. Wise Anamfath gives dumb child a shred of attention. We ended up talking until the hunters returned. He gave me... His hands dart across his body, scouring the pockets and folds of his tunic. This. He presents a rusted iron medallion fashioned in the likeness of a hound's head, a common icon amongst the frontiersmen, explorers, and other seekers faithful to Gallowayne. The Anamfath insisted I be trained, and none in my village would defy him. Now, I don't need a bow to hunt. Where are you from originally?
My mother's crotch. You?
What a coincidence. I also came from your mother's crotch.
For the record, only I'm allowed to insult my mother. But I respect your dedication to banter, so I'll let it slide. This time. I grew up in Glonfoth, specifically in and around Thane Bog. My people, the Fisher Crane tribe, are migrant stewards of the land. I've walked the whole of Glonfoth many times.
What's the story behind the symbol of whale on your eye patch? Whale is known as the eyeless face, so his symbol seemed a good fit for my eye patch. He absent-mindedly runs his finger along the strap of the patch band. Whale iconography is rather popular in my home tribe, but it seems he's not as widely venerated here in the Deerwood. I remember thinking that if I consecrated my eye to he who obfuscates and reveals, then maybe with enough devotion, Whale would make use of the old ruined thing. He pulls on the eye patch strap and lets it go with a loud snap. So, if you think you see me staring at rumps and cleavage, it's really just the will of Whale controlling my gaze. Honest. What's your relationship with Galawain? I was raised as a disciple of the Seeker God. He is the champion of the hunt, be it the simple struggle for sustenance or the scholarly pursuit of knowledge. In my older years, I found life has shown me I'm more suited to the ways of Whale. The furious hunt for knowledge often outpaces the journey to real understanding. Druids are known for changing into animals. What sort of creatures can you become? He takes a half step backward as you ask the question. All sorts of things, he says quietly with a long, uncomfortable gaze. He stares at you blankly, arms folded. Let's discuss something else. That's an unusually terse response from you. What are you holding back?
It's a long story, and I haven't really told it before to an outsider, so bear with me.
Oh, damn it. I struggled with spirit shifting, the final rite of passage in my druidic training. I prayed to Galawain for insight and, in the style of seekers of old, went to the forest, alone, to ask for guidance. Then I got my answer. An answer, at least, in the form of a vibrantly colored Stelgar that pounced from the underbrush and made a salient demonstration of its capacity to eat things 1/15th its size. You're alive today, so how did you fend off the beast?
Fend it off? I ripped off its arm and sent it running.
He strikes the face of an offended man, but smiles too wide to hide his amusement.
As the beast was lopping off bits of my handsomeness, I remember trying to fight back, swinging with arms too short to reach. I felt I had the energy for one last swipe at the beast's nose, and when I lashed out with a punch, my arm felt twice as massive, and my fingers sprouted talons. In a rush of power, I shifted into a mirror of my assailant. Apparently, he couldn't pick on someone his own size. By the battle's end, his severed arm was in my maw. The beast limped away in defeat.
That's quite an impressive tale. I thought learning to spirit shift would win me some respect. Maybe trap myself in a dear lass with a lust for little men. Alas, I might have been better off staying a novice. When I wandered back to my village, they saw my wounds and asked what happened. I showed them. The name they called my form was the Autumn Stelgar, and... His mouth opens, but he hesitates for a long moment before choosing his words. They were not impressed. The Riao of my circle believe the Autumn Stelgar to be a heinous abomination. It is said that if it eats you, your soul is invariably lost. As this was my first and most intuitive form, they deemed me a carrier of its evil. Even though I never so much as threatened my kin, I was ruled unfit and cast out. I don't know what message Galawain was trying to send. The only lesson I learned was that the Seeker God will punish you for seeking. You didn't choose your spirit-shifting form? No, it chose me. So I imagine. I always assumed I would shift into a stoat. Seems more true to my nature. He points at the embossed pattern of whale on his eye patch. As the obscured one teaches, when the answer is inscrutable, one must be content to ponder the question. Were you at least recognized as a proper druid? No, but I know I passed an initiation rite 5 times more perilous than any of those kin betrayers that insisted I was a failure. So you're some sort of soul cannibal? Hiravias stares at you with a frown before covering his face in his hands. No. At least I think not. Never actually sat down and eaten an entire person to find out. I'm not that curious to find out. Can you learn to spirit shift into something less terrifying? Already can and sometimes do. But the druids in my circle assign great meaning to one's first form. I'll always be unclean to them. Thank you for sharing your story.
Well, if you don't know me, you can't trust me. And if you can't trust me, odds are low you'll leap in front of a flying arrow to save my life. I've been meaning to visit the druids of Twin Elms to see if they know more about my spirit shift. If our journey takes us there, perhaps they can enlighten me with more information about the Autumn Stelgar. But for now, maybe we can talk about something less depressing?
I want to hear more about Galawain and Whale. He stares at you blankly with one eye. Oh, not sure what more there is to say on the subject, unless you were itching for a religious debate. Durance, stay quiet, please. Tell me more about your thoughts on Whale. I came to know Whale in earnest in the first year of my exile. I asked myself why Galawain would punish me for asking questions. What just and fair god would punish me for doing as he asks? Questioning why I had been mauled just drove me mad. At the height of my worry, I would have dreams where I only saw with my injured eye. My healthy eye became blind in my dreams. He lifts up the eye patch to gently itch at the socket. You catch a quick glimpse of a puckered and scarred abscess under the whale-embroidered patch. So, one afternoon, I stitched a stylized eye motif on the patch. I like to think of it as my self-initiation rite into the Brotherhood of Whale. Whale is not an instructive or overbearing deity. He does not freely dispense wisdom, and expects all of us to question and explore with our own minds. Whale reminds me that curiosity is being receptive to any and all truths, not hunting for any one answer. Has Whale ever actually spoken directly to you, or sent you a sign? No, never directly. Which is as it should be, given what he represents. I especially like how Whale never sends wild beasts to maul me. Maybe I have low expectations of things. Okay, what more can you tell me about Galawain? A frown overcomes his face as he ponders your question. Consider it a lapsed devotion. I will always respect the Seeker God, but he visited ruination on me when all I sought was knowledge, just as he taught it should be. He meshes his fingers together and flexes his digits until the joints pop and click. Galawain left his mark on me. When I see my shifted reflection, I'm reminded of his presence. Galawain still inspires my fear, just not my worship. If a god gave me a task and then crippled me for following instruction, I'd be as angry as you are. Yeah? He smiles as his face turns flush. Well, I was an angry wreck when the Rio exiled me. I'm just thankful for the solitude of the wilderness and the wisdom of Whale. Without them, I'd never have come to terms with my situation. I think there's one more thing we can talk to about this.
Need something? Need something?
Oh, there's a bit more. Tell me about Erglonfoth. It's a verdant land of history, culture, and natural beauty. We already have enough unwarranted trespassers, so I recommend you never visit. Do you miss it? Used to, he says with a slight frown. He scratches his shredded ear and looks eastward. It's home. I'll go back eventually, but... He turns his attention to his shoulder and picks a small seed from the fibers of his tunic. See this? I know, just a seed, but I've never seen this type before, and I'm itching to find out what grows from it. Every day I see something new out here. I'll return home eventually, but for now my curiosity exceeds my nostalgia sevenfold. Why should I avoid Erglonfoth? He looks at you puzzled. There are no cities to visit, no centers of commerce to explore. It would seem most visitors come to our land to pillage the Angwithan ruins. The ancient Angwithans gave the forest to our ancestors, and in return we watch their ruins and see to it that they remain untouched. And before you ask, no, we don't have a secret passphrase or hand gesture. Nobody enters the ruins, not even the guardians and watchers. What can you tell me of your tribe? I'm from the Fisher Crane tribe. Most of my people live far to the southeast, in and around the Thayan Bog. The tribe is not one of great renown, but they protect their lands in accordance with the sacred oath of old. And much as it pains me to say it, I wouldn't want any other tribe's name attached to my own. Did you grow up in a bog? Only briefly. Here, let me show you something. Don't commit any of it to memory, please. Hiravias rolls up his sleeves and shows you his forearms. The soft brown fur of his arms is lined with faint stains of henna and scar tissue. This is where I grew up, on the migration trail. I had it marked on my arms during my training. While much of the tribe guards the Thayan Bog year-round, many of us, including the Circle of Hawk and Ivy, honor the oath by patrolling lesser-known ruins scattered throughout the lands. He points at several of the henna crescents on his forearm. We eschew houses, take only what we can carry, and move camp every 2 moons to ensure that all our sacred sites are visited at regular intervals. This nomadic patrol is how my druid circle came to name itself. We circle and protect like hawks, but we only ever perch on the ivy of the ruins, that is, nearby trees, never to enter the builders' lairs. Why aren't the fisher cranes well regarded? Because the other tribes are insufferable sibling spawn? He grins broadly and stares at you for several silent moments. I suppose the fisher cranes have a reputation for being passive and reluctant to fight. Which is another way of saying the other tribes fight hard while we fight smart. Our namesake, the fisher crane, is a marshland raptor that remains stark still from sunrise to noon. We're invisible stewards of the land, and patient hunters of those who trespass. The three Tustelgar tribes see our methods as soft and unbecoming, but I hear they use the same word for cousin as they do for whore in their dialect. Just an observation. Can you join a different tribe? Hiravias frowns and shakes his head. There are tribes that would take me. The twice-split arrows adopt outcasts like myself, but their ways are not my own. Some of them even live under roofs. How obtuse. He looks off to the southeast and sighs. I long for home, not just any home. A whale has made my wanderings fruitful, and I accept that it may not be until my soul passes that I rejoin the fisher cranes. Aren't most Orlands in Air Glonfoth wild?
Wild? Yes, I suppose all of us were a bit wild as my tribe was migratory and we didn't live in permanent houses. But I understand what you're trying to ask. Yes, a slight plurality of Glonfoth and Orlands have forest plumage. Growing up with meadow plumage, I was assumed to be weaker than others my age. The huntmaster of my tribe only chose apprentices from the forested kin, or rather, wild Orlands, as they're called amongst slave-owning bigots, as well as bigots too broke to own slaves.
Yee.
I grew up in Air Glonfoth, specifically in and around Thane Bog. My people, the Fisher Crane tribe, are migrant stewards of the land. I've walked the whole of Glonfoth many times. What would you like to know?
Okay. I think there might have been more that we can talk to him about.
Need something?
What do the Glonfothans think of the Deerwood and its people? Hiravias spits. Foreign looters obsessed with wealth and wine. May their bowels be obstructed with pus-weeping nodules, every one of them. Not that you're asking a neutral party. When I was an insufferable child, and I usually was, my parents told me Deerwoodans would enslave me in this life and the next if I didn't behave. But I'm in their lands now, and I will, in the interest of academic fairness, admit that I've met several decent, mostly non-rabid Deerwoodans. But my suspicion about them all being drunkards has proved entirely accurate. I wonder what great wonders they'd accomplish if they all sobered up.
I grew up in Air Glonfoth. What would you like to know?
Alright. One more thing that it seems we can talk to you about.
Need something?
Can we discuss our party members?
Curious about your compatriots? Whom in particular?
What do you think of Adair?
He's nasty, brutish, and tall. So, two-thirds like me, I suppose. The circumference of his neck exceeds the circumference of my torso at its thickest point. They sure do breed them big and dumb in the Deerwood, don't they?
Oh, come on. He's not that dumb.
No, I'm being a brat. Truthfully, I think the guy's a lot more gentle than he pretends. He's certainly got a big heart for animals, at least, which is rather telling of who he is under that soldier exterior.
That is something I noticed. He's very happy about the cat that we have with us, and he wanted to pet Itomak. What are your thoughts on Palagina?
Her zeal is sincere, and I can tell you she's destined to die on her feet. And she's easy on the eyes. Can't fatten a thoroughbred, that's what I always say. I just wonder if she has a cloaca or not. Ooh, the curiosity is killing me.
Cloaca.
Yeah, cloaca. It's a combination feces chute and happy slot. Birds usually have these hybrid holes, and I figure she might too. What? Don't look at me like that. We can speak another time.
Right. No, I want to ask about others.
Need something? Curious about your compatriots?
What do you make of Aloth?
In particular. Oh, him? Him I don't mind too much. Though I could pitch a tent with the pole wedged up his anus. I could smell something funny on him. 2 cents? Not quite. Well, whatever it is, take note of his mood swings. I don't think he's unstable. I just think he has a lot going on up there.
Yeah, we're quite aware of all that. Sigani, what's your impression?
She actually steps lightly when we travel outdoors. which is more than I could say for the rest of you. They do things differently where she's from, but she knows her way around the woods almost as well as I do. Almost.
I am fine with the mutual respect. Any thoughts on Kanarua?
Oh, I think I could fit 3 of me, plus a remainder of a 4th Hiravias inside that giant. Gods, am I glad he's friendly. And between you and me, he has a better singing voice than the prettiest lasses I know from my tribe. It's 1 part unsettling, 2 parts arousing. And it makes me wish I still had both ears.
Well, at least you like him. I have a feeling this is probably going to be very obvious, but tell me your thoughts on Durance.
Oh, love at first sight. It's like WoW carved an ever-changing gash in his brain, and every hour he's a different flavor of angry. Durance makes me feel like I'm the sane one. He smells like fear in the mornings and rage in the afternoons. I'm keeping my eye on him. He's a laugh, but he might someday be a problem.
You're not wrong. That's all for now. Thank you. Okay. There is still a little bit that we can explore here, and I'm going to let this episode run long just because I want to finish exploring this area. So give me a moment to drop a save just to be safe. Alright, let's continue on and just finish exploring this area. I want to have this area fully explored before we end the episode entirely. It looks like we found... Oh! Apparently we can't actually go anywhere here. It's all flooded. I bet this is an area that would open up if night fell. That's probably connected to this. So if I choose to wait a while, what'll happen? Let me just get everyone over here. It is bright day out. So if we wait a while... can try it again. Distant relative leaves the stronghold. Okay, fair enough. And it's night now. And it looks like... Nope, there isn't a change. The writing changed. The starlight illuminates a pattern in the ground. You kneel to get a better look. Circular indentation, still needs something. The outer circles. The writing. Nothing. So that doesn't actually say anything. And we still can't get down... Oh no, I think we can now. Maybe. Maybe? Nope, we can't. So if we did one more wait, would that go away? Or are we just stuck here? Let's find out. Watching the star as the stars wink and glow overhead. Nope, no change. Alright. Well, in that case, I guess we should probably leave. So... Oh, one more thing I need to quickly do. Before I forget, you need AI. Let's see. Damage. Press will behave normally unless are engaged in melee. And reduce to less than 50, in which case they'll shapeshift. Support. Crowd control, spirit shift. We'll go with damage. And aggressive. Alright. Let me just take a quick trip back to Katanua for a moment. And hireling payday. Sure, why not? Okay. And while we do have Hiravias with us, I feel like we should have Sagani with us for what I intend to do here. Because I'm going to end this episode here. Next episode, while we could go to Deerford Village, we've gotten enough level ups that we've got everyone to level 9. And I think we're at the level where we can actually go and take a look in the White March. We're a little stronger than we should be, but that's fine. So, next episode, we'll take a look at the White March and the quests that we happen to have up there. I am very curious about what we might find in there. That will surely be very interesting. But that'll be in the next episode. So until then, I am Chester44, also known as Falai. That is Laniara, Adair, Durance, Aloth, Kana, and Sagani. This has been a Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity, and I shall see you all next time.